So, what does it take to create a consistently profitable business? This is a blog post that I just wrote over on clairecreative.com. And I wanted to kind of go through the details a little bit more. So, creating a consistently profitable business, there are many, many parts to this. But the answer is actually quite annoying. It's an annoying and inconvenient answer. Um, the answer is to create a consistently profitable business, you need the right strategy. So that is, it's kind of an annoying answer, but the right strategy is the right one for you. So there are so many ways that we can create a business, show up online. There's so many ways that we can start to gain profit as a business. But without the right strategy, it's kind of very difficult because you're going to be trying so many different things at once, and you're aiming at multiple moving targets. So the right strategy is the one that's right for you. So I'm specifically talking to solo service-based businesses here. So if you're working alone, you have to wear so many hats in your business, from admin to delivering your service to marketing to sales. And it's very easy to get lost in the weeds with that kind of stuff. So the right strategy is the one that suits you. And the thing is that you probably already know what that strategy is, but you doubt it. And when you doubt the strategy, when you doubt the thing that you do to get clients, what happens is that you go Googling for more answers. You go signing up for more courses and downloading more freebies and buying more books, and you get pulled in all directions. So almost everybody who I speak to for my strategy coaching has had some version of this experience, that they were onto something that was working, but then they doubted it and they Googled it. And there's so much, like, really, honestly, really, really good advice online. Some of it's outdated, some of it's not going to suit you. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story about my client, Sarah. Like, I've changed her name here for privacy, but Sarah's story is she was doing multiple things to get clients online. She was showing up on Instagram a lot, like posting, going live, doing reels, engaging with followers. And each of those is a campaign in itself. So she kept going with Instagram because she felt like that was the right way to get the visibility, but it wasn't really working. Her Instagram was growing extremely slowly for all the work that she was doing. And from that small amount of Instagram growth, nobody was really converting into a client, and very, very few people were even coming all the way over to her website. So she Googled it again, downloaded more worksheets, took some courses, and the months passed, and she got a couple of hundred new followers. Again, nobody was clicking through to her website. So when we started working together, we started off with a digital strategy audit. That's a fancy way of saying we looked at everything that she was doing, all of her online presence and digital assets, and we figured out where all of her time and energy was going, and why none of it was showing results. Because aside from doing all of the Instagram stuff, Sarah was also building a website, and she had also hired a search engine optimization consultant so that she would rank well on Google. So with all of that work and effort, so that's time, money, and energy going into this, and it wasn't actually resulting in more clients. So when we did our little audit, we identified three key weaknesses. One of which was that her Instagram strategy was all about hacking and trying to cheat the algorithm, and her actual content lacked any real value for her audience. So I don't know about you, but if you're on social media, I pay attention to people who offer the most value. Um, and I seek out their content and ultimately buy from them. But Sarah's content had gone really, really stale. She was following all of the tips and tricks from the worksheets that she was doing, and just like the value just wasn't there for her followers. So her content was getting seen, but not really. It wasn't meaning anything to the people who were seeing it. So those people didn't end up being clients. The second weakness that we kind of discovered was that there were no clear calls to action anywhere in her online presence. She was spending over at least 10, now I'm sure it was more than 10. She was spending at least 10 hours a week on Instagram trying to grow, But any attention that she was getting was going to waste because her grid, like the back catalog of her content, it jumped around in theme and style and even messaging quite a lot. So nobody was going to her website, nobody was going to hire her because it was quite unclear what her service actually was. So she didn't really make it clear how she was of value to her clients. So the content that she was putting out there was, again, it was just trying to get visible. And when you got into it, there was no real juicy, meaty, valuable content in there and no calls to action. Book a call, join my mailing list, email me, any of those things. Nothing was happening there. Because doing all of that content work, it's quite draining. There's a lot of work in creating content. And Sarah she was like, she felt like she was just really working so hard to create this content all the time that she wasn't inviting people onto calls. She wasn't using any calls to action, inviting people to be clients, which ultimately meant that nobody was becoming a client, nobody was clicking through to her website. So those are two like simple observations, but it takes a little bit of work to fix. The third thing that we noticed was that the SEO consultant that she was paying for every month, they were that team was doing a great job of researching keywords and implementing the strategy in the pages of the website. But the traffic that did get to the website wasn't converting. They bounced away without visiting additional pages. So a bounce in website traffic terms is when somebody comes to your site and leaves without looking at any further pages. So they bounced away really quickly, meaning that the traffic that she was paying for and paying a consultant to generate, it was a complete loss of her resources, of her investment in her SEO, because people weren't sticking around, they weren't subscribing or booking calls or anything like that. So that was just a very, very first step of the work that I did with Sarah in a digital strategy audit. So really looking at where all of your resources are going, resources being time, energy, and money. So we looked at where all of her resources were going and realized that they were all reaching a dead end. So there's many, many parts to this that we're not going to get into in this video. But it was just the first step in realizing that the work that she was doing, it didn't really suit her. The strategy that she was spending all of her time and energy and money on, it wasn't connecting with anybody and it wasn't actually showing any kind of return on investment. So that's the very, very first step that I do as a strategy coach with my clients. Paying attention to where all of the resources are going and looking at where the return would be more, it would be more lucrative. So part of this is working solo. You can get pulled in all directions with all of the great advice and all of the great ideas that are online. Do webinars, build your mailing list, run ads, do a PDF, join TikTok, use LinkedIn, all of these kind of things. And that's all at the very, very start of the journey for your customers to become your customers, your clients. It's only the very, very start of the journey. It's all visibility. Something needs to happen after that. And what you're doing with your visibility needs to be consistent. And the visibility work that you do needs to carry through into the engagement with your web traffic. So if this is something that you'd like to do for your business, pop over to clairecreative.com and grab a free consult, and we'll see if we can't figure out some of the weak points in your sales process. So attraction, engagement, and conversion. So I use the metaphor quite often. Which would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to move one thing in your business by an inch? No. 10 things in your business by an inch, or one thing in your business by a mile? So I don't know about you, but I definitely choose moving something by a mile rather than 10 things by an inch. Because the work that I do as a strategy coach, we really focus on what is the best use of your resources, your time, your energy, and your money. Because choosing to move one thing by a mile rather than 10 things by an inch, it means focusing down on your efforts and the efforts that are most likely to show a return. So focusing on your personal goals with your passions and values and where that overlaps with those of your ideal clients. So their needs, their goals, and their interests and their values, and finding the meeting point, um, so that you can show up in a way that suits you and is actually likely to attract your most aligned and ideal clients. So this looks different for every single business out there, but it's just so much easier to stay consistent when you're not trying to do 10 things but one. It's so much easier to avoid shiny ideas and the latest new advice and the latest webinar that's just come out, and focus on things that come from you rather than some stranger on the internet telling you what to do. So when you do actually focus on a strategy that suits you, there's an awful lot less uncertainty. There's an awful lot less doubt about what you need to be doing to get clients online. And you don't have to keep going back to Google to search for how to use a certain platform, how to do this, what to do in your website. And working with a strategist, that's me, helps you to kind of make those decisions and build upon each decision. So I could do a whole live stream about decision making, because when you're working solo, it's too easy to go back to the drawing board and ditch all of the work that you had done and start a new strategy, start a new campaign, try something else, change your messaging, change your brand, because nobody's saying, oh, well, hang on, we just did all this work. So that's the benefit of working with a strategist. You're guided in your decisions, and we're always moving forward in the right direction to your goals. So there's me. I did a live stream, clairecreative.com, if this sounds like something that you'd like to do for your business. I'm a digital strategy coach, and I really love, love, love working with coaches and creatives and consultants. So service businesses. I don't really do the whole e-commerce thing so much, but service-based businesses, helping them to show up online, connect with the right people, so connect with your ideal clients and get them ready to work with you so that sales become so much more easy. And this is the very, very first step to creating a consistently profitable business. So your profits aren't being drained by an ads or an SEO budget that is actually not showing returns. So that helps with profitability if you're not wasting your resources, and consistently being able to show up in the same way, in a way that aligns with who you are. It's so much easier to stay consistent and stay on track. Now it's time to stop talking. clairecreative.com if you want to find out how this might work for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.